And with that, we bring in Andy McCarthy, former federal prosecutor, National Review contributing editor, and Fox News contributor. Andy, good to have you with us. You watched this get rolled out this morning. We got wind of it last night that this was coming, that there were going to be charges against all members of the working Trump team in the real estate and in the company. What's your reaction to this suit?
Well, I thought it was interesting, Martha, that the last thing David Lee said to you was that they were going to refer this to the Southern District of New York.
Yeah.
This started out as a Southern District of New York investigation. This was a federal investigation, and then it was a 3-year criminal investigation by the district attorney's office. The federal government didn't pursue it, and I would point out, for what it's worth, that's my old office. I was there for 20 years. They don't walk away from an attractive case and let the state take it. And it is astonishing when you look at some of the numbers that they're talking about, you know, inflating property values and doing the sorts of things that is not unknown in business to try to maximize your insurance coverage while minimizing your tax liability. But you know, the thing that you expect to find in a massive fraud case is an array of victims. And one thing I think that is startling about this is that there's no victim identified. There's no one who was rolled out that, you know, some company or some, you know, poor bunch of saps who lost their shirts on account of dealing with Trump. That doesn't excuse, you know, the machinations that are, you know, if there was inflation of property values, that's obviously something that's wrong. But it's hard to imagine that most companies would like to sit through a 3-year investigation and expect to come out with a sort of a perfect record.
Yeah, it's also tricky because of the video that we played earlier, during which Letitia James on tons of different occasions just basically said, I'm coming after Trump. You know, this is what I'm going to do. When she was running for governor, I'm going to take him down, things along those lines. And it definitely hurts your credibility in terms of building a case when your personal feelings about the subject of that case are so blatant and obvious. Here's Bill Barr, the former Attorney General, reacting to this news today a little while ago.
It's hard for me not to conclude it's a political hit job. I mean, this is a woman who campaigned for office saying that, promising she was going to go after Trump, but she grossly overreaches when she tries to drag the children into this. Yes, they had roles in the business, but this was his personal financial statement.
Yeah, so is this a gross overreach? And do you think there'll be any leverage, given the fact, as you say, Alvin Bragg already had this case and they dumped it? You know, a bunch of attorneys walked away from this case. Does she have any hope of leveraging this back into a criminal case? Is it a civil case?
I don't think so, Martha. I think, you know, the professional prosecutors looked at this for years and decided not to bring it. The thought that Letitia James found something that the Southern District of New York didn't, and that Alvin Bragg and Cy Vance before him, with 2 trips up and down to the Supreme Court to get Trump's financial records, the thought that the professional prosecutors didn't find something criminal here, but she did, I think is highly unlikely. And I think what Bill Barr talks about is an element of the state system that's very unattractive. You know, Bill, as the Attorney General of the United States, was nominated by the president and had to get through a vetting process in the Senate. That's for an appointed position. In New York, all of these prosecutor jobs and state attorney jobs are political. And when you get that kind of a seeping in of people's political interests into the legal system, I think it makes for a very unattractive legal system.
Interesting. Andy, thank you very much. Andy McCarthy, always good to see you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.